Hello, I'm Eirelynbird. If you're new, welcome to my channel. I have shifted over to a lot of reading content. I haven't made a video in a while, just because my last one was really long, and I couldn't film anything else because my brain was overloaded with that. But now I'm here, and trust me, I've tried, sorry. But now I'm here, and I'm filming a new reading vlog. If you haven't seen the last one, go check it out. But today's reading vlog is gonna be on the Atlas 6. This book I have read in the self-published edition. I don't often read books 2 times, but because I've heard there's some slight changes from the self-published to the traditional published, I'm gonna read it. I'm also reading the whole series, so I'll read the Alice Paradox and the Alice Complex also in this video. So, ready? There's drawings. Wow. Okay, but yes, I've technically read this book before, but I'm gonna read it again. And when I was reading this one, I did do some tabs. Do I remember what the tabs mean? No. So we're gonna get started on reading this. This will be a nice refresher. I read self-published edition last summer. So I'm ready, I'm prepared, and let's get into it, and you'll get to see me read it. So I have decided to annotate, so I've got my little things. So on the back of this, I just kind of wrote what the colors mean. So I have light moments, foreshadowing, romance, character development / important moments, and dark moments. But I'm going to annotate all the books because the vibe of, I always nervous, Olivie, I hope I'm saying that correct. Her books seem just like the type of books that you need to annotate and make fun. And then I also have highlighter and annotating note writing pen. I think like all these colors are just like a nice fun mix. So I'm gonna start reading, and yeah. I'm not too worried about making this video long because my other video was long. But yeah, I also think it's important that I mention these videos are spoiler filled. I do not hold back on talking about what is within the books because I want to talk about the books. So if you haven't read the books, be warned, and if you don't care about spoilers, then keep watching. You do you. Because I read this book a year ago. I can't remember everything. But I feel like Libby's boyfriend betrayed. Like, he did something. Like, he's part of the plot more than you think, from what I remember. But I don't remember. So if I have remembered correctly, I just started up reading after dinner again. If I remembered correctly, and Ezra is what I remember him to be, it just said a young man, very intelligent, well-trained, like a traveler. And I'm pretty sure I remember that because I think I tabbed it. It says Ezra's mother had died when she was a child, leaving him without a parent or a home. I can't remember exactly, but I feel like that was his fault. So I just finished Parissa's chapters, so it's right before going into Truth, and I need to figure something out because I can't remember if it gets found out in this book. Because, like, there's this whole paragraph where it's like, she's focused on his mind and saw 6 people, no 5 people, without faces, extraordinary magic. He felt a kinship with one of the 5. One of them was a prize, something the man Atlas had recently won. 2 of them were a set, they came together. One was a vacancy, a question, the edge of a narrow cliff, and another was the answer, like an echo, though she couldn't see why. That's 5. She cannot be one of the 5. You know what I mean? One of them was a prize, something the man Atlas has recently won. I would assume that would be Callum. 2 of them were a set, that's got to be Olivie and Nico. So that's that. There's 2 more. So one of them was a vacancy, a question, the edge of a narrow cliff. I said that could be Callum or Tristan, but now I'm thinking it could be Rena, because it was a question, or it's Tristan. And then another was the answer, which I think is Rena, Libby, or Tristan. But that could be like many books later that we find that out. So like, I don't really know. But whereas like he felt a kinship with one of the 5, I was like, it could be her because she has the same magic as him, but that wouldn't make sense. So I'm like, who is he feeling a kinship with out of these 5 people? I don't remember. And I doubt you find out in this book. But I'm like, that just felt very important, that he feels a kinship with one of them. And I wouldn't be shocked if it's Libby, because she's like obviously main character girl. Anyway, on to truth. Oh, is this one Callum? I think this is Callum. The art in this book is beautiful. I'm pretty sure that's Callum. I'm not gonna finish watching the TikTok, but I just saw something that the ending is really different. So now I'm, just finished Truth, now on to Battle. Like it's very vague in my memory, the book, but like, because I read so many. This is my 22nd book of the year, like, not to brag. No, I don't read fast. Pretty fast if it's only the 6th month of the year, though. Anyway, I'm getting off track. Ezra absolutely is some weird. I think I remember him jumping through time to like get there, and then he got mad at Atlas and is like friends with Atlas because like felt betrayed for not letting him into the place. Something happened. Do I remember exactly? No. I really remember Callum just being like a little evil mastermind, a little spooky guy. I don't know. Could be wrong. I'm getting tired, but I'm gonna try and get to 100 pages. I'm at 72 right now, and we've already gone to Battle, which is pretty good. And then I could read another 100 tomorrow. Okay, next day. Just got to space. Pretty sure this is Tristan. Why he's got a knife? Who knows? So, there was a lot within there that I was like, vaguely remember, can't fully remember. The forum, I feel like I can't remember if the forum's crazily mentioned throughout the rest of this book, but I feel like it's going to be important in general maybe throughout the whole series. I know, because like when Parissa comes back with Callum, she's like really like phased, or like she's shaken basically. And I know it's something to do with Callum's magic. Like I know it. And another thing that I had tabbed was, I won't tell them if you won't, Tristan said to Callum. For a moment there, and the room was tense, that even the plants grew wary. Then abruptly Callum laughed. Let's keep it between us then. Better to let them wonder. I cannot remember if we get an answer to what that was. One of my favorite scenes is Tristan like guiding Libby through like where she has to direct her magic and stuff like that. I do have a hard time visualizing that combat scene though, but yeah. So now I'm on to space. We've gone to 115 pages. Pretty good. We're making it through. I have vague memories of things that happen. Like as I read it, I'm like, oh yeah, this occurred, but very vague. So when we get to the second book, it'll just all be a new surprise. I last night got to time, so let's go over space. What I found important in like the first chapter was Ezra asking Libby, what are you researching? She didn't answer, but like subconsciously it was Atlas. Foreshadowing to Tristan being able to like see time. I can't exactly remember the exact moments with that. I also think it was an important moment, the whole conversation that Rena has with Aya about Dalton, because that just kind of goes with everything. And then I tapped a dark moment where they were talking about the elimination process, and then there was tabs everywhere all over the Dalton and Parissa scene where I tabbed multiple dark moments, multiple important moments, foreshadowing, so on and so forth. And then this is where we find out they're gonna die. I need to talk about something because I'm like, I can't remember if we got answers to it in this book or not, of like what Atlas's whole plan in general was or is, but I feel like it has something to do with time travel, but I can't remember and it's bugging me. And like because it's the whole thing of, like, Dalton's memory and him, like, not being whole and stuff, and then her fully just going into the wrong part of his mind. And then, like, the conversation she saw Dalton having with Atlas, it's like, what you can do, what you can access, you are necessary in other ways. Like, what can an animator access that, like, what is Atlas building up to with these people? Like, I know something pertains back to Ezra, but I don't know what, and it's bugging me, and I don't have the answers, and like, there's so much to follow within the book, because, like, there's all the characters, they all have different things and different, like, and I'm assuming Gideon plays a bigger part to play in the whole thing. Also, cannot stop imagining Gideon as Gideon Grey from Gravity Falls. I'm pretty sure it's Gideon Grey, but like, that's just what I imagine. Let's discuss. Just finished whatever chapter, thought. They did the do. The whole scene where Callum is, like, exhibiting his power, and then that was, like, Parissa's whole plan to just be like, people are gonna be scared of you now, dude. Tristan just being obsessed with Olivie at this point. Love it. Tristan also meeting Ezra. Wild. So, the thing, I guess, that really intrigues me the most with all of this is when Rena first talked to Atlas, Atlas was like, there's a traveler. Then Parissa calls Gideon a traveler, but Ezra's also a traveler. So, like, which one was it actually going to be that was going to get into the society, you know? I don't know if we ever got answers on that. I can't remember. I also just kind of thought it was weird that Nico just was like, yeah, I'm going to massage your feet now. Like, sir, no. And then, obviously, she tells him what happens, and it's like, oh boy! Oh boy! Ew. Okay, so I got an answer to something. Earlier when I talked, and it was, I felt a kinship with one of the five. Atlas just said to Parissa, where is it? I had thought us kindred spirits, so he felt that way towards her. Death. She had the whole reveal with Callum. I completely forgot about that there's somehow books on them that tell the future. That's interesting, and I kind of want more for that. I also think that Callum is just fully bluffing with him being like, turns out I kill you. Now we're on death. Why does his face look like that? Why is he biting his lip? Okay, I'm not finished the book yet, but I just had to go and read the self-published version because I am seeing the major changes here, and it's with Tristan recognizing that Libby isn't Libby, you know? Because I was like, this isn't right. Because I vividly remember Tristan, like, just openly being like, what the hell are you guys seeing? So, okay. It's just, there's more details and less dialogue to the scene, because when I went and quickly flipped through it, there was, like, a lot of dialogue, and Atlas somehow showed up, and he has not been mentioned here at all yet, so I do not remember this, but Gideon got in contact with his mom. He has to do something, and it's like, he has to break them out for a fee. Break them out of what? Their subconscious? No, their conscious mind, actually. Dalton? Is it Dalton? Is it Dalton's mind? Now I feel like I'm in the dark. Now I don't feel like I understand a single thing that's happening. Because none of this is proceeding in the way that my memories remember it. Okay, book finished. Final thoughts. I think that concluded the way it naturally concluded anyways. We know Atlas just wants to take over the world, basically. Nico's like, we're finding Libby. I don't care what you say. This is happening. I still don't know if I like Ezra, even if he's doing it for the good. I still don't think he should have trapped Libby in, like, this place. Good book. I feel like I need answers to a lot of things, though. Like, I still don't fully understand the extent of Atlas's plan. Was he kind of playing Ezra this whole time? Did he always in the back of his mind be like, I'm gonna take over the world. Like, and because Ezra jumped into the future and saw like destruction and everything like that, how does he know that isn't also a cause from him working with the people who want to take down the society? Like, how does he know that he's not actually playing into it by the choices that he is making through not following Alice, you know? Hello. It's the 5th. I didn't pass my driver's test, if you're wondering. It's rebooked. Let's not talk about it. The Atlas Paradox. I moved you because change of scenery, why not? So, I've confirmed what you can't see that, it's fine. So we have important quotes / annotations. So I put that on when I've like written in the book. Romance, important moments, foreshadowing, and dark moments. So anything that I'm like, oh. We're gonna begin reading. Finished beginning, and I have some thoughts. Theories. So there was like persons of interest, and the last one was the prince. Animation, general. Identity, also unknown. Known affiliations, Ezra, Fowler, and Elfie. So that would have been the person that Elfie got the animation from for Ezra. So I'm like, who? Huh? Gideon? Is Gideon the prince? Who is this prince man? Who is the prince? Because if it's animation, is the prince Delton? Because Delton... Oh, it might be Delton. Gideon can't animate. What? Because Dalton is an animator. And Dalton said he recognized that animation of Libby as it's his own animation, right? So it's like, is Dalton the prince? But that chapter ended with Gideon getting to Nico in the dream world, and we basically got to see how he got there. Now we're on initiates. Ezra believes that Atlas is trying to destroy the world. Whether that is true or not, up for debate. Well, in the middle of reading this, Dalton's internal self, where he's in the castle, where Parissa can talk to him, and is like, I'll save you, I'll get you out, whatever. Wouldn't it make sense that he's the prince? Because he's in a castle and is known as the prince, and that could probably easily be reached through a dream realm. I finished Initiates. We didn't get to see Parissa's whole thing with that, which kind of odd to not include that. Even if Callum is not my favorite character, I can understand having so much empathy where you then don't, and feeling so much where you then don't want to put it on anybody else. So you just are like, well, this is my pain to have, so what am I gonna do? You know? So it's like, I get it, but you don't gotta be mean about it. I thought it was cool that Tristan basically took himself out of the initiation process and whatnot. Or like the whatever. I'm calling it the initiation process, even though that, I don't know, I give up. That Atlas was so excited about Tristan's falling through time, basically. And makes me kind of nervous, not gonna lie. So we've got Nico, his conversation that he had with Gideon in the dreams from like the beginning part where Nico had where Gideon got him being like, I think I almost got her. I think I almost found her. It was, they called the cleverest prince, and I said misdirect because the prince, are we really sure it's Gideon? He's not an animus. And then it says, breaking someone out who's trapped in their own conscious. I find it difficult to believe that someone happened by choice. Dalton, the prince in the castle. I think I had mentioned my theories on that before. Romance question mark was another one where Nico had texted Gideon being like, are we okay? And I was like, oh, I think that's, I don't know. There feels like there's something going on there. And then Tristan being like, I need you to help me die. And then I said, stop his own heart question mark. Stop his own time. Which I'm not entirely wrong, I don't think. Interesting with calling the archives an it and whatnot. And also Callum just kind of being goofy with Rena and being like, drink. Gideon finally getting to Libby and her being like, break up Summer, right? So I'm assuming that Gideon will be able to deduce Ezra put her here. We'll go and talk to Nico, be like, okay, this is what's happening. Nico will then go to Tristan, say Ezra's name, and Tristan will be like, huh, wait. And then they'll all kind of like connect the dots. Gonna continue reading. I'm enjoying this one though. I'm like, it feels more fast paced than the first one because you kind of know all the characters now, and it's like it's not trying to be something. It's already is, and I like it. I like it a lot. I'm on to duality. Libby escaped. It's 1989 where Libby is. I'm assuming that would be when Ezra was a child with his mother. Rena thinks she's a god, or that it's time for new gods and she's going to be one of them. And the archives won't give her books, thinking she's looking for instructions, which, you know, pretty cool. Tristan being able to reverse time, I guess. That situation was, so it seems like a window shattered, but then Tristan like stopped it from shattering fully, I guess, if that makes sense. And then also highlighted the 6 people that Ezra chose for his help. Parissa being in Delton's castle. He's gotta be the prince. Parissa kind of explaining how she thinks the archives work. Because I like that there is Rena and Callum who have their own ideas of what it is, but then there's Parissa who also has her own ideas, and that they're not fully similar, but they're similar within the same line, but it kind of shows that it's like it could be one or the other, and the author isn't giving us an exact like it's this, here you go. We have arrived at ego. We just finished also the interlude. So confirmations. Dalton, absolutely the prince, obviously. Libby catching a glimpse of something blue behind Gideon, obviously Elfie. I just sense perhaps that you might be a quite important piece, Mr. Kane, to the kind of research this particular group of initiates could provide. That's Dalton, but I clearly think that that is Alice's words. So we don't know if Gideon had saved Dalton from this castle dreamland because he woke up, but Parissa recognized him. So I wouldn't be shocked if she then went to Nico and was like, I met Gideon. What the heck is he doing? Why was he in Dalton's brain? And then it causes like a whole conversation, you know? Oh yeah, I saw something and I'm assuming I'm right. Okay, just finished Ego. Nico and Parissa kissed. This is my theory, okay? So when Libby is talking to the professor friends she's made, they talk about the many worlds interpretation, which Nico brought up. And it sparked a theory in my brain. Is Atlas trying to create another world or dimension to another world, and in doing so destroys his own, hence what Ezra saw? Because Callum read stuff about Alice. It said, he's really like harping in on this time of year and like the weather and like that it's winter time, and he's like, and Alice is like, everybody can get depression in those seasons, and he's like, no, I mean the other thing. It's very interesting, your sense of responsibility, why anyone would be so devoted to something so remarkably callous, killing. And then it was like, how many people has Atlas killed or been complicit to killing? And then the professor that Ezra recruited is Boleyn, that Olivie is currently talking to. So I wonder if, as time is passing, Boleyn's going to have these memories of Libby and be like, huh. Atlas had a no way earned omnipotence. I know you must be getting someone to access the texts, probably Dalton. And then, obviously, Tristan can see through his disguise. But the way that Tristan is acting throughout that whole thing, and with, because Tristan says, to the society and beyond, and then already deeper in Atlas's pocket than he could possibly know, like the animator. Does that mean that if Atlas had trapped Dalton in his own brain, that he's just done the same thing with Tristan? I don't know. Okay. I'm starting from the back of this section. Tristan's there. Olivie and Boleyn. Unexpected. New dimensions, worlds. Atlas wants to create a whole new world, I assumed. Theory, what if Ezra isn't traveling in his universe, but all of them. So what if what he saw was in another universe? Oh, them finally connecting the dots of who Ezra is, obviously. So it's like, what made you hatch this little plan? Then some kind of insane need to rule the world. Rule it? No. Understand it? Yes. So that's different than what we kind of know of what Ezra, I guess, has said. I feel it important to make an update. So we find out that Atlas killed his friends. But because, like, and it makes sense, but I don't know if because it's blatantly said to us that, like, is why it makes sense, or if it's gonna be like a misdirect, I don't know, but it makes sense. And it's that all of Atlas's initiates died, but Atlas, and, like, other than that, Atlas is clinically depressed. So because they didn't lose an initiate, and then Nico getting the bloody note, like, it's been in front of us this whole time, all of them slowly deteriorating. So it's like, it makes sense that they would, like, die. Just finished Fate. Libby went to the Wessex Corp or reactor plant and basically blew it up. And now we have a Boleyn chapter because obviously they fought. And sad. I was rooting for him, kinda. Oh, and then also Tristan just was like, hey Atlas, I'm siding with you, you know? And then it seems like Rena and Callum are like, no, Parissa hasn't really decided yet. Nico probably has no idea what's going on. And then Libby obviously is get back. But we have a Boleyn chapter, so let's finish this book. I have so much shock right now. Like, we need to recap. So, Boleyn's dead. Nico left. Atlas was like, I'll see you again. Why? Because Libby will be back. He didn't say Libby, but it's Libby. Then Callum and Rena just are suddenly with Tristan's dad and are like, hey, just go work with him. Why not? We didn't get a final chapter with Tristan, though. So, like, don't know what he's up to, but he's obviously decided to side with Atlas. Delton is with Parissa somewhere, and they have just decided to make a new world using Atlas's research, so they're just kind of being like, we're gonna do this. Atlas seemed to kind of confess that, what I think is that there is a blueprint of our lives, Ezra, and I think we chose the wrong paths, you and I. So, basically what he's saying is he wants to rewrite history, like he wants to make a new decision than what he had in the past, because he thinks the choices they made weren't the ones that they were supposed to make, but he was convincing himself that they were the ones that were supposed to make, I guess, is what I guess I'm kind of understanding. And then, you know, spoilers, but Libby just comes in and kills Ezra, like, okay, woman, he's dead, I guess. And then Gideon kisses Nico, which I called it from the beginning when I did my little tab that was like romance. And then obviously Libby comes through a little portal, I'm assuming right after she had killed Ezra, and was like, we need to talk, dude. But I'm done. I have no idea what is supposed to happen now. I don't know what's gonna occur during the Alice complex, but, you know, Gideon and Nico being in a relationship, I enjoy it. I'm pleased with that information. Hello. It's been a second for you guys. I don't know. It's been 3 days, I think, since I last recorded. I haven't started reading yet. I'm very tired. I graduated yesterday. And I went to a concert on Sunday. So now it's Tuesday, and I'm gonna be starting this chunky book. This is close to 500 pages. If I want to stay on track to finish this, I have today, tomorrow, and Thursday to read this. But yes, we're starting this. I got my tabs. I'm using these 5. So we've got quotes, and annotations, important and foreshadowing, dark moments, romance, and light moments. I brought light moments back for this one because I found that there was a decent amount of funny, like, goofy moments that I wanted to note down more in the other book, but I just didn't have like a tab for it, so I wanted to bring that back. I got my chai. I got my concert t-shirt on. I saw Melanie Martinez. That was great. And we're gonna start reading. That was wild. And it's only been technically a chapter. So we find out that Atlas technically was an accident to be born. There is a girl from his initiating class, Alexis, who is a necromancer. So as it seems, Alexis was like resurrecting them multiple times. It's like Alexis knocks on his door and says, "Hi, sorry to bother you, but Neil is dead. He died," and inside his telescope was a note that said, "You killed him." It's like when Alexis dies, she can't keep resurrecting everybody. And it says, "I shouldn't have asked for power when what I really wanted was meaning." It says, "Somewhere there's at least one world where Atlas Blakely committed a murder that saved 4 other lives, and now the only path forward is to find it or make it." So what it seems happening is he obviously regrets his choices. He is now finding the means and the people to bring the 4 people in his initiating class back to life, whether that's in another world, whether, like, that's what it seems to me. And it was mentioned a lot in the Atlas paradox that, well, not a lot, but definitely alluded to, that Atlas has depression, and you can absolutely feel in the way that this chapter is specifically written, the depression, if that makes sense. Like, you can feel the sadness and, like, the weight of not wanting, like, just not wanting to do anything, and, like, you can feel that, and it's really interesting. I just finished existentialism. First, we have an Elfie chapter, or Elif. Elif? Is her name Elif? I've been calling her Elfie this whole time. Anyway, it's Elfie. Elfie was like the blonde man, the one with blood in the wards, which is really interesting to me, that she can, like, see the blood. Because Callum has seen the light and read the books, I guess. He's like, 6 months if I believe the stories I've been told, which unluckily I do. So they have 6 months, basically, to live. And then it was also the prince, the animator, was at large. So Dalton is at large. What is with Dalton? Like, why is... He also seems weird. The accountant, it says, no, not a symbol, a letter, W. And in Atlas's chapter, we had been introduced to William Astor Huntington, and that is the only person with the letter W. So, William. And then we have Nico's chapter, which Gideon is now... He's at the society. I tabbed something because I thought it was funny, where "Did you pay the rent?" Nico asked Gideon as they charged off in her wake. "Yes, I live there." Just the confusion of Gideon. And then Nico being like, "I'll be so pissed if we miss the gong for, like, the dinner." And then we have Tristan, and it seems that Tristan had... So it said that Libby first went to Tristan, and then it seems that Libby went to Alice and Ezra. And Libby had asked Tristan, "Was I a killer before I walked in that room?" And Tristan doesn't really seem to know if she was the one to have killed him or not. He's like, what really happened in that room yesterday? Was it Atlas that killed him? Like, all those things. And then Nico comes in and ruins their moment. And then we have Parissa's long chapter. Yeah, Parissa asks, "Do you think they've got an idea what we're up to?" Because Parissa is basically trying to fight Atlas and beat him to recreating the world, which, wild turn of events. And then there is Parissa's husband, which I have a theory, could be really wrong, but we got his name. Nazar Ezelian? I know I'm probably saying that wrong. Is the vice president of the biggest median energy corporation in the Middle East. He's a businessman. Don't know how old he is. Could he have been Rena's stepdad, the businessman? Just a theory. Be pretty cool. I don't understand a single thing that just happened. We just basically saw into Delton's brain and his thought process, so he wants to tell Parissa something. Basically, every thought was leading into another thought. What is happening? And I don't even think he revealed anything. Like, he might have revealed something, but I don't know what. I like Callum and Rena's duo together still. That's very fun for me. Nico and Libby managed to transport themselves from the reading room to the garden. Tristan finally kind of gave us more of a glimpse into Atlas's plan, I guess. Atlas said that Delton would be the one to summon the void, I would be the one to see it, and you and Verona would be the key to the door I could conceivably unlock. But to convince Delton, we need Parissa. So there's that. I also just liked Callum going, "Hark, he speaks." He's a goofy little guy. Parissa's husband is dead. He found the pieces to build the computer, but he can't do it anymore. He's lost his objective. He's afraid the algorithm is wrong. So Atlas is basically just worried about his plan. We also still have no idea where Alice even is. To be perfectly clear, Alice Blakely does not want to destroy the universe. He just doesn't want to exist in this one. And then it goes on to explain a whole bunch of stuff. And then at the end of that chapter, it says, which is one way of saying that Alice Blakely knows exactly how dangerous Dalton Ellery is, but by the time such a thought occurs to him, the debt of his life has already been acquired, and he is already too late. How is Atlas alive? Like, what is he doing that is keeping him alive that didn't keep any of his other classmates alive? And why did everybody else's life forces get drained, but not Ezra's? Like, Ezra, it was never, alluded to that Ezra's powers were sluggish or he was tired or anything like that. So I'm like, why didn't he have any adverse side effects? Because it's kind of similar where, is Libby having any adverse side effects? Whoa. Tristan abruptly had been like, I don't know where she is, Verona. And then, do you know where Atlas is? Nico asked carefully. Verona, I don't think. And then he was cut off by Libby and Gideon showing up. What the heck does Tristan mean by, I don't know where she is? Does it mean, her mind? What does it mean? I just found it kind of creepy. I don't know why, I just feel like it was creepy. They had a catering company, or have a catering company. They still don't know where Alice is, also. He's just gone. Libby, in the middle of the night, went and got a letter that Atlas wrote to Ezra from the archives. And there's key things in here that I think are important. It's not the original ritual, can't be, given that nobody mentions it in any text until the 18th century. And then he's like, what is known? The archive has no body, wants their blood. The archive has no soul, wants theirs. And he says, why? To recreate us is my guess, or torture us. So I have a theory, could be very wrong. The books that Callum found about their lives, what if that is from a different timeline? And this library is continuously remaking everything. Everything's already occurred before, everything's already done and happened. And if the library's one stationary thing, and the burning of the Library of Alexandria is actually these characters constantly remaking the world, and in that time burning down the library. I don't know. Also, I'm kind of feeling like Libby might be turning out to be the bad guy. Just a little bit. There's a important / foreshadowing moment that I wanted to keep. It means that the archives are alive the same way artificial intelligence is alive. It tracks us. It maybe probably thinks in some rudimentary way, but its information about the world doesn't come from its own intrinsic existence. It comes from the data that we supply. It's like interlude book club guide to Atlas Blakely's Rise to Power. It's that he telepathically overpowered his own caretaker. It's also interesting that Parissa is afraid of Libby, but she doesn't explain really why and what she saw and what happened, Now into rationalism. Finish that section. Let's see what I tabbed. I really don't think I tabbed that much. So we have Paris's chapter. Delton, insisting this is why he was born. This is
Wise doing everything. Parissa realizing why Atlas needed her. When Parissa runs away from Dalton, it says the would-be assassin shifted his jacket aside and Parissa clocked something she hadn't before, a logo on something she hesitated to call a handgun. This wasn't a normal mine, and therefore likely not a normal weapon. Was the insignia a W? It's back to the accountant, and which we just had in the interlude, a book club guide to Atlas Blakely's power. He messed with the cognitive process, damaging the brain for the remainder of his life, of William Astor Huntington, his caretaker. This wasn't she clearly points out that it's not a normal mind. It's gotta be him. It's gotta be William. No. But there was something else, something more concrete in the realm of Livy's thoughts of Atlas Blakely, something recent, knowledge she hadn't shared. So what is it? I am convinced that Libby killed Atlas. We haven't seen him since she came back. She had a dream with Gideon in it, and it was like, I can't find him. And I don't know if he means Ezra, because I'm assuming if he can see the dream, he can see that Ezra's dead. Like, he can see and know that Ezra's dead. So I wonder if it means Atlas. So Parissa was like, it is like 6 months to the day since we left the society. And Rena has been harmed. Callum has a gun to his body. And same with Parissa now. So everybody kind of is on like a ticking clock at the moment. It's Nico's chapter now. We'll see if they do the experiment and if anything happens. But like, there's a ticking clock. But I'm like, there is still a decent chunk of book here. And we have not seen or heard from Atlas like the entire time. His mom is dead. We just found that out too. So I'm like, where is this man? What is he doing? I think he's dead. What is happening? What is happening? Okay, so what happened between Libby and Atlas in his office wasn't personal. It wasn't even, as Ezra's death had been, a personal matter. A coin flip of vengeance or defense. It was a simple question. Simpler, at least, than the one the society had asked her. It was straightforward. Can you save the world? And her answer had been yes. Yes, I can. But what had happened? And then it goes into Gideon being like, I saw him, and then Gideon, I saw him. He knows, she realized he's known it all along. She saw Gideon clearly now. He wasn't a nightmare. The nightmare was hers, and there was something wrong with Dalton. Something was pulling at her, unraveling like a thread. Was it possible Ezra had been mistaken that Atlas... He said that Atlas was the dangerous one. His plan is already set in motion, but Atlas was not the weapon. She was. Everyone in this room was an arrow, which had always meant Dalton too. But why does she keep repeating that she saw Gideon? Like, what about Gideon did she see? Like, she saw him now, clearly. Like, what do you mean? And what did you do? I don't know what's happening. Also, I swear all these photos, so like, in this one, there's a shoe there, and then there's nothing really in Parissa's, but there's kind of looks like there's like a shoulder in that corner there, and then there was another shoe, but it also looks like there's like another shoulder kind of like drawn in that corner there. There's like kind of a body in this corner here, so I feel like it almost makes up a person, and I know that's strange, but like even in this one and this one for Callum, there's a shoe right there, and I feel like it makes up a photo of someone. It's a Libby chapter. I think we're gonna find out that Atlas is dead. I feel like he's dead. I could be very wrong, but I don't know. He's been gone this whole time. Where else would he be? I was right. But I think Dalton's the problem. And that was her realization. But I'm just so happy that I was right. I think Nico's dead. I don't know how to feel. I don't know what to do. I don't know if I believe it. Oops. The W stands for Wessex. So this does... Eden wouldn't be the accountant. That wouldn't make sense. But the... So the W... But...
With the W, so it doesn't, that's all it stands for?
The accountant never seemed like a man. No, like a woman, though. It seemed like a man.
But it could have been Eden.
Maybe it's James himself. I'm so confused because that was a clear marker to who the accountant was. But now they're linking it with Eden because of Eden's gun. If Gideon just died, I'm throwing hands. Gideon's not dead.
But somebody else is. It's Delta. For anybody wondering. I spoiled enough. You should know the spoilers are coming by now.
I also just think it's very important to add, randomly, that I actually like Callum's growth over this time and him just slowly realizing he's absolutely in love with Tristan. And I would like to see a love confession from him. I think I spoke way too soon. I did not expect myself to be most sad about Callum's death out of all of the characters that have died. At this point, who's even gonna survive anymore?
Nico's dead. Dalton's dead. Ezra, Atlas, Callum's now dead. Why are they all guys? Why have none of the girls died?
I'm going to tell you right now, I am almost done Tristan's chapter, but I got no idea what's happening. I don't know if these scenarios are alternate realities. I don't know if he is changing these realities, because some of them are Atlas. So I'm like, what is this? What is happening? What is real? What is the actual scenario? Are these just other options of what the author could have done with the story? Like, what is happening?
Just finished Rena's chapter and the end of the naturalism section. It seems at the end of that Parissa is waiting for Rena at the house. So now we're on to life. The last section before end. I have no idea if Tristan is dead. I don't know if he killed his dad. I don't know if he did it to himself. Could easily spoil it for myself and just look through all the chapters to see if I can find his name, but I don't know. So, on to the last section. I don't know how to feel. That was great. I enjoyed it. My only question now is there's a part where it goes, a flash of light, a flash of light, like a flicker of a lighter, caused a moment's distraction from the monitors through which James had watched Tristan Kane breach the building's protective wards. A glimpse of platinum blonde winked before the lens.
Is that Callum? Is Callum actually alive? I need to know, but I don't have the answers.
And then, and it finally at the end, given Libby the answer she wanted about her sister, but we don't know what that answer was. So that's kind of unresolved. And I do like the end like lines where it's like, the power you have will never be enough compared to the power you'll always lack. Do you understand? Are you listening? Put the book away, Miss Rojas. You won't find what you're looking for in there. And I feel like my interpretation of that may be very wrong, but I feel like that line is saying to like the reader that like we're Libby in a sense, where we're like looking for some meaning in books or this book specifically, or it's like you're not gonna find what you're looking for. It's like put the book away. But 5 stars. I feel like this book series traverses 3 years, and I've literally read 3 years within the span of 15 days. My brain hurts. It was great. I'm still kind of processing everything. Guess that's the end of this video. Hope you enjoyed. Subscribe if you want more. That's all. See you in the next one. Bye. Callum's alive. Got answers.